Juan, listening to what our friends have said this morning, having the global perspective that you have as the leader of this for Kerry, what is your sense of whether our industry and indeed the food system as a whole can make progress towards sustainable nutrition by 2050? What is your sense of that?
Yeah, my sense is that the industry needs to commit to creating innovations that deliver that impact, both on nutrition and the environment and the social impact. So I think that first it's bring these corporate commitments down to the product and the consumption every day. So being able to quantify first the taste of the product, because if it doesn't taste well, it won't be consumed. But then quantifying the nutritional impact, quantifying the environmental impact, and being able to help. In our case, we are a solution provider. We help brands and we help retailers market better, and then consumers consume better. But for us, it's all about these creating these innovations which can be uh, quantified on taste, on nutrition, on environment, and then on affordability as well. Because that's part of the sustainable nutrition. If it's not affordable, people won't consume it. So at the end, you need to bring that down to the product and the beverage that is in the plates of people and the experience, right? So science is the building block, and then the marketeers will put, as Beatrice said, will put the excitement and the care around it, right? But if the building blocks are not there, then it's fluff, it's greenwashing, right? So I think first is driven doing science back. We call it science backed sustainable nutrition. So it needs to be backed on science. It needs to deliver an impact, and then you need to market that in a way that to the masses, that the way people are educated and care. That's a summary. So we reach 1.2 billion people roughly through our customers in Kerry, and we want to reach 2 billion with sustainable nutrition. And we're calculating everything. We're calculating the number of consumers we reach with impact. So I can tell you, 90% of our portfolio delivers positive or balanced nutrition in terms of sugar, salt, fat, if used properly in standard formulas and by our customers, right? So if you don't add too much sugar after the fact, etc. And so we're measuring that portfolio and the progress we're doing. And we want to have, at this stage, 50% is positive, and we want to go to 60, 70% over time, right? And I think many companies out there in the industry are now setting nutritional targets. I won't name big companies, but they have been coming out with saying, okay, so much of our portfolio contributes to positive or balanced nutrition. So if you take a UK, we looked at 43 nutritional systems around the world, and then we created a Nutri-Guide for our R&D teams, which it's a translation mechanism that says, looking at all these nutritional systems, how do you create better food every day, millions of times, right? And then you put that through this translation mechanism, which is UK traffic light, the Nutri-Score, the Australian system, the Chilean system, etc. And then basically using the right ingredients and reformulating, you can optimize the food for a better nutritional impact, right? So creating these tools internally or externally, educating the scientists, and then educating the buyers, the retailers, and the consumers around what better food is based on impact is fundamental.
Yeah. Um, Juan, part of the problem, I think, just to go back to Jack's, opening statement, part of the problem here, I think, is that I'm not sure that people actually believe that sustainable nutrition is possible. I think that's people in our industry. I'm pretty sure that the consumer, is confused, as you said earlier on. And I'm not sure whether government and policymakers trust our industry to lead this change. Again, I think as Jack said, that their willingness to impose legislation to force us to do things. How do we change people's minds about our commitment, which I think is real, and our investment towards creating a sustainable nutrition future by 2050?
Yeah, I think that 20, 30 years ago, there's a gentleman called Akio Morita, who was the CEO of Sony, and he liked to listen to
Mhm.
music. And he said, I would like to have a little thing invented that allows me to listen to music. And all the consumer research and everybody told him, "You're crazy. It will never work." Akio Morita was the CEO of Sony, and they invented the Walkman. Right? And 20 years ago or 30 years ago, talking on the phone in the street, it was just a phone. Today, you have a phone in your pocket that basically you have your life in your pocket. So I think in 20 years, 30 years, we've seen fundamental changes. When there is a will and there is an innovation, the change is possible, the transformational change is possible. I think that there is a coalition of the willing that needs to happen. I think mechanisms like the COP
Mm.
um, are taking a long time. We've had 27 COP and we never get to a bottom line really. But that's because we try to do consensus driving for everybody. I think Pareto works, taking 20% of the companies that want to progress fast, looking at consumers that want to consume sustainability, bringing these two together, the change will happen much faster and success brings success. So I think there are, as Joel said, there are brands out there, small brands, innovative brands. In the US, for instance, Joe said that sustainability sells. But if you look at which brands sell, it's actually the small, disruptive, and digitally based brands who are
Mm.
beating the big brands. So that's disruption. And I go back, I'm an economist, I go back to Schumpeter and Clayton Christensen. I think disruptive innovation and disruptive marketing to consumers, so where supply meets demand, will get us there to 2050. And I have to be optimistic. I have two kids that are in their early
Yeah,
20s, and they
yeah,
challenge me every day,
yeah,
Dad, what are you doing?
yeah,
And I'm not
yeah.
joking. I mean, I think it's not a joke. I think it's we have a responsibility as an industry to make it happen.